Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Gargoyles episode reviews. Today we're looking at Sanctuary. A weird sisters free Demona and Macbeth from their spell and helpfully wipe their memories when they left Avalon. We haven't heard anything from the pair since they sailed into the mists. Now, they're back, and in love. That's right. This is the episode where we will see Macbeth and Demona, sworn enemies, swear their love for one another, embrace, kiss, and even, wait for it, marry. But all is not as it seems. The monster of Notre Dame Cathedral is in town. He and Demona are no strangers. It's up to Elisa to figure out what is going on since Goliath is fixated on Demona's presence. Angela is about to discover a secret about her mother, and Macbeth will discover a secret about himself. Missed last week's ep? It was Gollum. You can go read it, or listen to it. Spoilers in the 2020 moments. Info from Ask Greg is in the According to Greg bits. Season 2, Episode 29, Sanctuary. Reasons for existence. To explore the theme of love and how people can still be capable of it even when they think they are not. To explore how love can be used as a weapon. To bring us up to date on Thailog's story. To advance the story about Nightstone Unlimited, Demona, and Thailog. To introduce Angela to the idea that Demona is her mother. To explore what Sanctuary is. Main antagonists, Demona and Thailog. Times, January, don't know, 1996. Locations, Paris, France. And we open on the, guess what? Yeah, Eiffel Tower. Gee, I wonder where we are. We are finally getting back to some of our familiar villains. According to the previously on, we should be seeing Demona and Macbeth. Great. We open with Macbeth being enamored with a beautiful redhead. The voice of the woman is familiar, though she's speaking in a French accent. She drops it slightly at the last, and it is unmistakably Demona. Yep, Marina Sirtis. But what in the world are Demona and Macbeth doing together? They're not just forming a truce or an alliance. They look like they're really in love with each other. Or at least Mac is in love with Demona. You better watch out. We know gingers are trouble in this show. Elisa pulls into a city via one of the rivers. Upon looking around, she sees that she is in Paris. Since it's day and the gargoyles are still in their stone sleep, she gets onto the street and decides to make a phone call to her parents. I wasn't aware that phones booths in Paris took American money. Well, they might, I guess. It's kind of a tourist place. But before she can place the call, she sees Macbeth and Demona. Yeah, because she can see them from a mile away. They split up, with Macbeth going into a building and Demona going to Notre Dame. Elisa gives chase but cannot capture Demona. And there's a shot here with, Margot. She gets around, that girl. This is obviously a Paris before the utter wreck of the city that exists now thanks to immigrants and no-go zones. Look at pictures of the city now. There's trash all over the place, vagrants sleeping in piles of garbage and mattresses. It's quite dangerous to go in many parts of the city. This is also before they had the terrorist attacks. Looks a lot like a lot of our big cities in America. Elisa returns to the skiff just as the gargoyles are waking up. She announces that Demona and Macbeth have formed a truce. She's also brought a newspaper which has a picture of a gargoyle against the full moon near Notre Dame. They called this creature the monster of Notre Dame. It's always a full moon. You sure this rag isn't the Sun or the Daily Tatler? I wonder, does Xanatos know this is happening? Surely he has people around the world keeping an eye out for strange occurrences like this, especially since he knows Goliath, Bronx, and Elisa are gone. By this time, Severius will have let him know that the gargoyles were in Scotland. Goliath has to explain to Angela that Demona turns into a human in the day because of sorcery. To be honest, it's not really sorcery, it's fey magic. Goliath cons Angela into staying with Elisa so that Angela doesn't run into Demona. Then he flies off to Notre Dame. Elisa agrees only half-heartedly to play this game. She thinks that Angela should know her parentage. True, Severius never said anything about Angela being Demona's daughter, but it's pretty obvious that she is. At Notre Dame, Goliath lands on the top of the cathedral. Demona is out of view. She calls for her love. Come again? When she looks up from the newspaper and sees Goliath, she is enraged. Then who is she calling her love? She knows Macbeth isn't going to be flying up to the top of the cathedral. Is she bewitched again? Is Macbeth bewitched again? Side note, gargoyles in Notre Dame. In In a Disney show, yep. Side note 2. Cathedrals are where criminals can plead sanctuary, or suspected criminals, and the authorities can't drag him out. According to Greg, you can read his ramble on Station 8 and the background memo. Demona goes from calling her love to threatening to kill Goliath. There's a throwdown in which Goliath lands some solid hits. But who should appear but Thailog? He's in very fancy armor. Like, really fancy armor. It complements his red and black coloring. I'll comment here that the red and black are Xanatos Enterprises colors. I wonder if Severius said that the colors were just sort of like an accident, but I don't know. I mean, red and black, yeah. Why does he need the armor like that? I mean, yeah, it looks great, but what's it actually for? Are they expecting to see Goliath here? I mean, I doubt it. It's Paris. And here, that really puts Goliath's loincloth to shame. There she is, also hanging around his neck. Now she calls him her love. Oh, she is a player. Thailog also professes his love. Goliath, however, does not believe that Demona is in love with Thailog. Goliath tries to convince him that he is being conned. But Demona is quite insistent that the Goliath is the one who is jealous and paranoid. It's funny how we see our flaws in others more clearly than we see them in ourselves. Thailog says they have no secrets, and that even though he is a clone, he knows what he's doing. Yeah, you bet he does. He's got Xanatos education. Goliath decides he's getting nowhere, so he leaves. Yeah, he also knows he's outgunned, literally. In the Cathedral Bell area, Thailog remarks upon the name of the company that he and Demona have set up together. Nightstone Unlimited. I don't know, it's kind of on the nose, but whatever. They are going... What does it even mean, though? I mean, Coldstone, at least, kind of made some sense. Well, they are going to pool their resources to create a conglomerate with which they will execute their nefarious schemes. Demona will take the name Dominique Dustine, who no one will ever see in the night. Thailog will take the name Alexander Thailog and will never be seen at all. They do a wing hug, and 2020 moment. It's interesting that he picks the name Alexander. And I'm wondering if more than the training got into Thailog, the training from Xanatos, if a good bit of his actual personality and the way he thinks in general and what he values got in there. I mean, not just values like, success and power and trickery and stuff. Anyway, I'm sure that he didn't allow Demona to pick it for him. Alexander is the name that Xanatos picks for his own son. It's the name of a great conqueror, which certainly fits the son of David Xanatos. Now, throughout this exchange, Angela was listening, and when she gets back to the skiff and meets up with Goliath and Elisa, she confronts her father with the fact that he never said he was in love with Demona. Well, of course, he never saw the point. Also, it probably wouldn't have helped her in his mind. He is still stuck in the idea that all the Rookery Hatchings are equal descendants of the clan. Angela, being raised by humans, does not follow this rule. This is rather interesting because it means the notion of the collective parentage of the clan is not instinctive, but learned. I wonder if all the Gargoyle clans have this idea, or if it's just the ones in Scotland. In a classic Gargoyles stall, the sun comes up and turns Angela and Goliath to stone before they can get too far in the argument. Lisa leaves to figure out what's going on with Demona, Macbeth, and Thailog. She decides, with her detective skills, that Macbeth is the one who's out of the loop. It makes sense, considering he would never willingly ally with Demona. He also wouldn't remember anything about her turning human, because those memories were wiped by the Weird Sisters after Avalon. Speaking of Demona and Macbeth, they're getting married. If that much of their memories is wiped, you gotta wonder what they thought when they woke up. And again, how did they wake up? Like, they were both in the same skiff together. I don't know. Yes, you heard that right. They're standing before the Justice of the Peace in Macbeth's mansion. It's reminiscent of Fox and David's marriage, really. Justice of the Peace tells them that love can be a safe haven. Love is a heavy theme in this episode. It is so heavy, in fact, that it is annoying. You could do a drinking game and get quite hammered if you took a shot every time they said the word love. It's Bank and Banquois. Look, I don't know French, and they don't ever use the names here, so whatever. And Fleance again. Yeah. Squinty and the one with the butch haircut. We saw them in Lighthouse in the Sea of Time. Remember they're flying the jets and working for Macbeth. It's funny that like they are really his standard thugs, his standard minions. He dragged them all the way over to Paris. Alright, halftime. At this point, the story is like a crazy fanfic by someone who shipped Macbeth and Demona. I don't know what that would be called. Dembeth? Macmona? It's so out there that even a fan would be hard-pressed to make it believable. Now, I haven't been on fanfic.net for a while, looking for this pairing, though, so there could be quite a lot out there. When I go on fanfic, I've really only looked for Owen, Puck, Fox, and or Xanatos stories. This means I don't find a lot to read. This is one heck of a setup, and I can't wait to see what it's all about. Tune in next time, where we'll learn who's tricking whom, why, and how badly. We'll also discover Macbeth isn't the hard-nosed old man he pretends to be. Well, what'd you think about so far? What'd you think about the wedding? Heck, what'd you think about even just the first part of them hugging? I thought it was pretty surprising. Well, you can comment here, you can comment on the blog. Remember to like, share, subscribe, do all the things. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.